Hey, toy fans! Welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. I'm Scott, Toy Guru Neitlich. I'm a lifelong collector, but I'm also a 20-plus year veteran of working in the toy industry. And a big reason I started this YouTube channel, other than boredom during COVID, was, well, I guess one way of putting it would be to provide tough love, but it's not really meant to be antagonistic. It's much more like I'm providing a reality check. From working in the toy industry and from being a collector myself, it's given me a very unique perspective, and I like sharing that with my fellow collectors because I hate seeing others stress out over things that are kind of out of our control. Recently, there was a big cancellation from Hasbro of a whole bunch of collector product. It was mostly Star Wars stuff, Black Series, 3 3/4 Vintage Collection. Essentially, these were all figures that had already been out, and Hasbro had resolicited them and allowed retailers to essentially, place orders ahead of time. And they were characters like Black Series Rex, which came out several years ago, or Asai Ventress. Did I pronounce her name right? I'm always butchering Star Wars characters' names. What can I say? That's why Wikipedia's around. Go look it up, nerds. So, yeah, there were a whole bunch of Black Series figures, and there were even some 3 3/4 Vintage Collection figures as well. And most of these were very popular characters. They weren't the obscure bottom of the barrel. Now, collectors are saying, well, why is this happening? Why did Hasbro cancel all these figures that they already put up for pre-order? Is this a direct attack against us? Well, the thing is, it all goes back to the same misconceptions that, in a way, I've been kind of preaching on this channel for quite a while, and there's still a lot of people out there that sort of just don't want to hear it. So when you see this wall of awesome product at a retail store and the impulse is, oh, that's designed for me, that's designed for the adult collector, well, that's not really true.
Which is?
It's not about you.
Anything that is at retail, anything, is aimed at parents, kids, and gift givers. They make up by far 80% plus of purchases. Todd McFarlane even mentioned this a few weeks ago about why he doesn't do all-female case assortments. And if there were more collectors, we wouldn't see things like this. Product meant for collectors that was going on clearance. There is a wall behind electronics for collector-specific items, more R-rated IP, that type of thing. But it's shrinking, and it also has a much lower sales-to-peg ratio. So, are we deluding ourselves? Well, if you are still walking into the toy aisle thinking the toy aisle is designed for you and there to serve your needs, kind of, maybe. We are an important part of the toy industry, but we're small. Now, the other thing besides our size is when we talk about reissues. And I've mentioned this quite a few times, and I know I've used this image quite a few times, but it's a perfect example because this Storm figure was reissued. So think of a reissue like a Venn diagram, right? Each of the circles represents what's called an MOQ, minimum order quantity. So let's just say it's 10,000 units for sake of a number. So to produce anything, you have to produce 10,000. And if you're producing that twice, you have to produce 10,000 twice. So both the purple or the pink circle and the blue circle represent the MOQ, but that area in the middle represents the demand for a re-release. And you can see the demand isn't big enough to hit the MOQ. So that's the problem. When you go back into production, the adult collector market is very small. And the way it's organized and the way we talk to each other and the way we group online and at conventions absolutely creates the perception that we're much bigger. I mean, that's what the internet does. I always said we're louder than we are numerous because the internet has a way of making us feel like, oh, everything is for us because it's right in front of us. We can easily talk with other collectors and we can watch other videos. The last portion of it is what I've often called on this channel is the juice worth the squeeze. Something that my boss PJ at Mattel used to tell me all the time when I was proposing projects. The way to think about this is the juice represents all of the amount of human capital and energy it takes to make a product, right? This is all of the bandwidth, energy, resources, finance, materials, everything that a company needs in order to make a toy line. Now, said toy company, whoever it is, whether it's Jax or Mattel or Spin Master or Hasbro or Super 7, doesn't matter. They all have basically the same type of approach. You have your resources and you have to decide how to use them. So looking at the brand portfolio of everything that we have available, well, you have your choice of where you pour this juice. So of course you can pour it equally into all of your brands, call it Hot Wheels, Barbie, Games and Puzzles, Monopoly, game, whatever. But of course, a company is going to choose the brands that have the greatest potential for turning a profit, and not just a profit from sale, but what's called operating profit, which means the money you make after you subtract everything, raw materials, salaries, healthcare. Now, it's not as much of a difficult Sophie's choice deciding where to pour this energy. It's much kind of more obvious. The larger customers are going to get more resources because they order more and they support so much more of that company's profitability. So the smaller mom and pop retailers like Nerdzotic and even Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, they're not exactly a priority. And it's kind of like between a rock and a hard place. You might say, well, a company should be supporting anyone who wants to sell their product. Well, yeah, that's good in theory, like communism. But if you look at the way toys are actually manufactured, there's very limited resources. When you have an assembly line and you have the vendors in China that are making this product, well, you could either make product that you're going to sell very few to mom and pop, comic book shops, small online retailers, or you could take those exact same resources and put them into things that'll have a much higher MOQ, even above the MOQ. So you're not just doing the minimum, but you're making way more than that. And that allows you to get even discounts on the cost of product, which ideally you can pass along to the customers. So it's about taking the best offer. So if you have two different, say, customers, a giant big box store and a mom and pop comic book store, as a toy company, and this is for all major manufacturers, whether it's toys or cars or growth clusters, you have to make the smart choice for business. Do you put those resources towards toys that are going to sell a lot or only a few? It's not about being evil. It's not like these toy companies are sitting there going, how can we screw over the collector? It's about the bottom line. It's like any other company that manufactures. You have to put resources towards the product lines that are going to sell the best. And putting resources towards a product line that's already been out there, well, that MOQ is tough to meet a second time. Collectors and these small retailers are basically the sprinkles on the cupcake. The cupcake and even the frosting, that's the big box stores. That's the Amazons. That's the large stores that place these huge orders that are above MOQ. When you're dealing with collector product and small retailers that mostly cater to adult collectors, well, they get deprioritized simply because it doesn't make business sense. When you have a limited amount of resources and a finite amount of, if you will, the juice. I know I'm using a lot of food metaphors today, aren't I? Juice and cupcakes. I don't know why. It's fun. So you can choose where to put that, but you're going to want to build the base of the cupcake before you put on the frosting and the sprinkles. And if you don't have enough energy to finish the cupcake, well, you're going to basically just focus on what you can do, which is where more revenue, more profit is possible. And when we're talking about re-releases, again, going back to that image of Storm and those Venn diagrams, it's the catch-22 because demand doesn't always equal the minimum order quantity that you have to place. And you have to focus on where you can make money as a company. So they might have solicited this product for smaller retails, but in the end, they may not have gotten the MOQ necessary. And if you still don't believe me and you think these companies are being evil, I tell you, I got a bridge in Middle Earth I can sell you. I hope this video clarified why Hasbro and companies have to cancel product. It's really size of market and MOQ. It has nothing to do with trying to screw anyone over. It's sometimes business decisions have to be made, and you have to focus on where the sales are going to be, which honestly is with kid product. Thanks for watching, and please share this video. It's the best way to support the channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.